Hey everybody, welcome to Combat Saturday for November 28th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. Alright, today on Combat Saturday we are going to be talking about the rifle. Yes, that's right, the rifle is not a traditional fantasy weapon, but D&D is a game that is very flexible, always has been, and has imagined the intersection of all kinds of genres ever since it first came out. Um, and the D20 system that D&D is built on is very versatile. It's not the best system for every genre of game, and anyone who tells you that it is, take that with a grain of salt. There are systems that are tailor made for other genres that are far superior in those genres to the D20 system and the D&D system, but D&D is comprehensive enough and flexible enough that you can overlay the veneer of many different genres on it. So, let us take a look at how rifles have been used in past editions of D&D, how they are incorporated into the current edition, and see perhaps um, what that can tell us as players or DMs about how we can use them in our games. All right. So we are going to go into the Wayback Machine, go all the way back to first edition AD&D, and this is where firearms, gunpowder, first entered the D&D game. Now, in the DM's guide, they had some cross promotion going on. Dungeons and Dragons was originally developed under the auspices of the company called TSR, and TSR also had a Wild West RPG that they were marketing at the time called Boot Hill. And Boot Hill had a whole bunch of, you know, modern era, meaning Old West, so 1800s and early 1900s weapons, which would include everything from tomahawks and bows and arrows to shotguns and rifles and even Gatling guns. So um, the instead of giving you full details on those, what AD&D did was refer you to um, Boot Hill guides, and then it gave you abbreviated statistics for things. And as you'll notice, when it comes to the wounds, the weapons, range weapons, there is not a rifle. In fact, there's a shotgun, a scattergun, and other shoulder arms. So other shoulder arms is probably what a rifle would come to. So the damage is 2d4. The short range, it gets +2 on the attack rolls. Medium range, it gets +1 on the attack rolls. And long range, it gets 0 on the attack rolls. And that's basically all they gave you in the rules, other than rate of fire. So uh, everything in first edition had a weapon speed factor, and 1 is a very fast weapon. The higher the number, the slower the weapon is. So if your weapon had a speed factor of 8 to 13, you would get 1 attack every 2 rounds. 6 or 7, you would get 1 attack every round. 5, you would get 2 attacks every round. 4, you would get 3 attacks every round. And 2 to 3 or 1 is actually so fast that they don't even count the number of attacks in a round. All right. So now let's move forward to 3rd edition because they did not show up in 2nd edition, but in 3rd edition they came back and they were in a table under modern era weapons. So exotic weapons, firearms, and we have 2 types of rifles. We have a hunting rifle and we have an automatic rifle. And the hunting rifle does 2d8 damage or 2d10 damage. 2d8 damage for a small rifle, 2d10 damage for a medium rifle. An automatic rifle does 2d6 damage to a small from a small rifle, and 2d8 from a larger one. Range increment is 80 feet, so 80 feet for short range, 160 for medium, 240 for long range. 8 pounds and deals piercing damage. And then the difference between the hunting rifle and the automatic rifle is, of course, the number of shots before you have to reload. That, and I think there's like a burst fire as well. So you get multiple attacks in a round with those. All right. Now, in the current edition and 5th edition, in the DM's workshop section of the Dungeon Master's Guide, is where we find the information on firearms. And there are several categories of firearms. There's Renaissance items, then there's modern items, and then there's futuristic items. So we want to take a look at the modern items. So rifle, a hunting rifle deals 2d10 piercing damage, 8-pound weight, requires ammunition, reload after 5 shots, 80 feet for normal range, 240 for long range, and it's a 2-handed weapon. The automatic rifle is 2d8 piercing damage per attack or per hit. Ammunition range 80-40, burst fire, reload. The reload is 30 shots and then 2-handed. And so the burst fire then means you can make multiple attacks in a single round with that. All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the rifle in D&D. Okay, if you like the information that we have here on this channel, please click the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, click that post notification bell so that you too can be notified every time new content drops on the channel. And down in the description, you can find out all the links for my social media where you can follow the live streams and where you can hit me up on the web. And in the comments, let me know if you have a game where you use, either allowing as a DM or your DM allows you as a player to use firearms. And then what do you do about when you have to find more ammunition for it? Because that's a thing that I think could be a really interesting problem in D&D. Is if you don't have access to modern labs, even if you have magic at your beck and call, you might have some gunpowder that's a little bit, as we say, either suspect or inconsistent. And I think that could make for very interesting things behind the screen as a DM. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you have enjoyed this, and we hope we will see you back here next week for another Combat Saturday. Good night, everyone.